Hey there, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video, I'm doing a review of the new Kikki student planner. So while I'm not a student anymore, I was really drawn to this planner because of the weekly layout. So it's separated into like different columns and sections for each day. So intended for using as subjects, but I prefer to use it for general life planning and categorizing things like meal planning, blog posts, and keeping everything separate and like compartmentalized that way. I found it really clear and easy to follow rather than just like a jumbled mess, as can be the case with an open-ended layout like a horizontal where there aren't separate sections for each day. So let's have a flick through if you are interested in this planner or you are like me and want to modify it and use it as a general weekly life planner. So it's about A5 size, approximately 5.5 inches wide by around 8.5 inches high. I'll have all the dimensions in the blog post, which will be linked below if you want to go and check it out. So it is the book-bound style, which I normally avoid because the pages don't tend to lay flat when you're using them, so I'll have to see how this one goes when I try it out this year. It's about 1 centimeter thick and there's no year on the spine, which I thought it was a bit odd, but apart from that, it looks pretty nice and simple. I actually prefer the plain back cover with just the straps rather than these strawberries. Some of Kikki's stuff lately has been a bit kiddish, so not really to my taste, but the actual layout of the planner is really nice, so I said stuff it and I'll get it anyway. Okay, so in the front here, the 2018 page, so it comes with a little page marker. It is a bit flimsy cardstock, so I'm not sure how well that would hold up, but it's there if you want it because there aren't any tabs in this planner. So, personal information page, some tips on goal setting, which to be honest are just generic stuff, so I kind of don't know why they bothered including it, but it's there anyway. So timetable page. So this one I thought would be really good for blog post planning, so I can get a sticky note and then put the number, like number 1, and then write out what the blog post is, and then here I can just put like header stickers over the top and be like drafted, edited, video recorded, images, pinned to Pinterest, social media, etc. and put like header stickers to cover those up and then tick it off or schedule when it's going to get done. So I was going to modify this into like a workflow tracker since I don't really need a timetable. If you preferred to plan your week this way, you could do the same thing. You could have a number and then reference that on a sticky note. So like number 1 might be cleaning, and then you could put an outline around the box in highlighter on the days you're scheduling to do it, and then color it in when you have done it, which I've done previously before for habit tracking, so you could use it that way if you wanted to. Okay, so we've got a few of those timetable pages. 2018, 2019 dates at a glance. So these little monthly snapshot calendars start on a Monday, so I have to check if the weekly spread and the monthly are consistent. Okay, so one of the good things about Kikki planners is that they include all the holidays, not just for Australia where the company like originated, but also for the rest of the world, like US, South Africa, and all these other countries. So if you live overseas and you're, for example, in the Netherlands and you can't find a planner that has the appropriate holidays for where you live, then a Kikki planner might be a good pick for you. So we've got the monthly calendars at the start and then all the weekly planners pages at the back, which I actually really like that format because then you can just have all the months together and then all the weeks together. You're not sort of interchanging and ruining, I guess, your planning workflow by having like monthly planning pages and dividers and notes pages and all that separating all the weeks. And the other thing that sometimes happens with weekly calendars when they're in that format is you'll have half the days of the week like on the previous month, whereas this one it keeps all of the days of the week together. So I actually really like that format. If it's not your cup of tea, it might take a bit of adjusting to get used to, but if you use like a paperclip or a page marker, then you can mark where the monthly is and where the weekly is. There's also a built-in bookmark as well. Okay, so it starts on a Monday, the monthly calendar, which is good because that other one started on a Monday as well. Yep, cool, keeping it consistent, that's good. Now, one thing that I've noticed already is that this one has 6 rows. So the Kikki planners tend to do 6 rows instead of 5 and then like restarting the numbering up the top. So personally, I prefer when planners do that with the 5 rows because when you have 6, it reduces the amount of planning space for every single box on the page. And then with this one, as you can see with the shaded out dates, like this is kind of dead space because that will be on the next month's calendar. So I'll just get some white out and put it like white out the lines and then put whatever I want down here so it's more functional, like I'm not wasting space. Okay, so then we go into the note sidebar and to-do list. You could always get some header stickers. I have a tutorial on how to make them. I'll link that below. If you are not using these headers, so notes can be rather generic. If you want to do something more specific like cleaning and put a header sticker there or cover this up with habit tracker stickers. The column is about about just over 1 inch wide, so it is quite narrow. So I really think that would be ideal for stickers like habit tracking, where you can just tick it off rather than handwriting something, because if you want to handwrite something, it's going to take up the whole column with how many lines you'll probably need. So it's different colors throughout. I really like that one. That's cute navy. Very colorful planner. Cute polka dots. Some lines. Polka dots. Lots of pretty colors. Okay, so let's see, it's closing. It's not staying open. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so let's have a look at the rest of it. So we've got the weekly calendar, now weekly planner, and this is why I really wanted the planner. I really love when it's got the separate sections for each day, similar to a teacher planner, the Plum Paper Me planner, the Bloom teacher planner, the Erin Condren, Blue Sky. All of those ones have a really functional format where you can keep everything separate. So you can go cleaning, meal planning, and whatever other categories you want to do. I do blog planning, and you can keep everything like really separate and organized and neat. In these spreads. I really do think it's a really functional way to plan, because with an open-ended layout like a vertical and a horizontal, it can end up being a bit of a mess. My spreads do anyway. Okay, so here we've got the days of the week, and it has the holidays printed here. So instead of cluttering up the monthly spread, they've put it on the weekly page, which I actually really prefer, because when planners put it on the monthly spread here, it tends to take up the whole box. Like, you can't write anything else there, so it's always dead space when they do that. So I really like that they've kept that to the weekly spread. Okay, so then we come down here, we've got Saturdays and Sundays combined, which is a bit of tight space. You go like Saturday there and Sunday, but to be honest, it doesn't really bother me so much, because I tend to just have like a separate checklist when this happens on a sticky note that I just stick onto the page, so it's still like there, and you can create extra planning space if you want it that way. Because it is designed as a student planner, I can't really fault it for combining it, because you do still get a fair bit of space for Saturday and Sunday, and you could always just continue the lines down as well. Okay, so due this week, priorities and notes. Now this is kind of too small for me, in my opinion. Like, I can't really fit much more than like 2 words in that space. Like, you can see my finger is like 3 of that would fit it. It's just a really tight space to write in. To me, it's not really practical, and I write small, so not really sure how I would use that. I'd probably just cover it up with a sticker. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other colors. So yellow, not normally a fan of yellow, but I actually don't mind it on that spread. Doesn't look too bad. And then we go into this one. I really, really love this teal blue kind of color. It's so pretty. Love it. All right, let's do a flick through the others. Got some red. Oops. No tabs, remember, but you do have that page marker. So lots of different colors and graphics throughout. Let's head to the back of the planner. So, if we go right to the very back, because it is a student planner, it has some subject planning space. You can always just white that out and put whatever you want in the notes pages. So I always do, I kind of like modify it that way. Assessments and exams page. Very handy if you're a student. Quite a few of those pages. Let's skip to the back. Okay, so we've got some events pages. Sorry, this is kind of awkward. I'm holding my phone with one hand to film this. Some groups and memberships, so you can keep track of like all your group meetings, which is always good. If you've got a group assignment, someone doesn't pull their weight, and you tell the teacher, and then you've got like an evidence log. Okay, so we've got books and readings. Quite a few of those pages. Okay, so let's go to the notes pages. Now, I quite like this border around it. It's a bit more interesting to look at than just a plain lined notes page where it's like no border around it. So cute and colourful. And if we keep going towards the back, I did some pen testing. So you can see there was some ghosting and some bleed through obviously on the Sharpie. They always bleed through. I'm yet to find a planner where it doesn't bleed through the page. I'll be very excited when I do find one. And the highlighters had a bit of ghosting on the back as well. Mamby stamps, as per usual, bled through. They always bleed through, similar to the Sharpie, which is really disappointing. But otherwise, on the whole, not too bad. Minor ghosting, not enough to like annoy me. If you're really anal about ghosting, use a ballpoint pen because they tend to bleed through less than gel pens. So these are the ones that I tested. Again, I'll have this on my blog as well. And they're Kikki, their own pen. Didn't bleed through, which was great. Alright, so let's keep going towards the back. Got some other colourful pages, and then this like clear thing that slits around the cover to protect it from damage. You could shove 1 or 2 pages in there as well and kind of turn it into a pocket folder. It doesn't actually have one built in, but you could always stuff some paper in there if you're desperate to like stuff your bills in when you check your mailbox on your way out. And then that same cover as the front. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll have all those links below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in more planner review videos. I usually do 1 or 2 each week, and the button is below this video if you want to hit it and subscribe and be notified when new posts get published. So I'll have that pen testing link as well in the blog below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.